Yo guys, what's going on? It's Adil Muscle, and as promised at the end of last week's video, today we will be discussing the ketogenic diet. The ketogenic diet, or the keto diet for short, is a diet that has gained popularity over the past couple of years, with people who promote it claiming that it helps people burn fat, to lose weight, lose fat, and as well as that, they claim it has many health benefits. So today we are going to be covering some of that. So let's begin with what the ketogenic diet actually is. The keto diet is a high-fat, moderate or adequate or kind of still low-ish protein and definitely very low carbohydrate diet. The aim of the ketogenic diet is to put your body in a state of ketosis, whereby you are using ketones instead of glycogen as your primary source of fuel. Ketones are chemicals found in the liver, whereas glycogen, the plural of glucose, is a form of carbohydrate that most of us who eat, the traditional Western diet or a relatively high-ish carb diet will get most of energy from. The idea then is that you are running off fat rather than carbohydrates, and if you are running off fats, then you are going to burn more fat throughout the day, and therefore you're going to lose more fat overall. So the question is this true? And the answer is yes and no. So firstly, it does have some health and medical benefits. For example, it has been proven to reduce epileptic seizures, and interestingly enough, this is actually why the ketogenic diet was created in the first place, which most people do not have any clue about. The history actually in some ways goes all the way back to the ancient Greeks, kind of, and you'll see what I mean in a second. Basically, Hippocrates, he actually wrote about how to get rid of epileptic seizures, but his method was that you fast. Centuries and centuries and centuries later, to be more specific, in 1921, a man by the name of Dr. Henry Galen came about, and he suggested that, well, fasting is not so feasible. We can't just starve our bodies, to eliminate seizures, so we need a different method. So what he did is he found that eating a ketogenic diet, so putting your body in a state of ketosis, is a good way to eliminate epileptic seizures. This was actually used for children first, and then for adults it seemed to even work for adults too, but people only used it for maybe about 17 years or so, so about under 20 years, because then they found certain medicine and other kind of treatments, and it just kind of got extinct in some ways. But then people decided to revive the diet, the ketogenic diet, in a way that Dr. Henry Galen or any of the first founders, none of them would have actually thought of this way, and that is to lose weight. And interestingly enough, this is actually a trend with many of the diets. They usually actually came about for a certain health or medical purpose, and then later on people then use it for losing weight and all this kind of stuff. And I'm actually going to make a playlist, inshallah, on different famous diets, and then you guys may well see this trend for yourselves. But let's just stick with the ketogenic diet for a second. Studies also suggest that the ketogenic diet might benefit people who have diseases such as the Alzheimer's or even cancer. There are, however, some drawbacks. For example, a common symptom would be constipation. Oftentimes people even suffer from vitamin deficiency because they kind of neglect fruit, basically, because that's a carbohydrate, and that's similar to why they have constipation issues. Fiber is actually also lacking from people with a ketogenic diet, and then even worse than that would be people who have kidney problems, such as kidney stones also. But I believe most people, especially if you're coming to my channel, they are interested in the ketogenic diet for weight loss purposes. Medical purposes maybe, but in that case you should probably speak to your doctor. And by the way, I here do not really give any medical advice. I don't take anything that I give as medical advice. So the question is, does the ketogenic diet help you lose more weight than any other traditional diets? And the answer is yes. The ketogenic diet does help you lose more weight in the short term than any other diet. But pay attention to how I said it helps you lose more weight. You see, weight comprises of fat, muscle, water, and glycogen. So when we really say we want to lose weight, we don't really mean any of those four except one, and that is we want to lose fat. And in this regard, the ketogenic diet is not more beneficial than any other diet. The only thing that it will do is help you lose more water and glycogen in the short term. And the reason for that is simple. It's because you are now running off what? ketones because you're eating what? High fat, as opposed to what? Glycogen when you eat what? High carbohydrates. So if you're going to eliminate carbohydrates, then of course you're going to see a sudden change and a sudden decrease in weight because you have lost loads of glycogen weight, but that is not fat weight. But my biggest problem with the ketogenic diet is twofold. So number one is the issue of unsustainability. Whichever diet you go for, it has to be sustainable. And this is something that I say all the time. Fitness is for life, or it at least ought to be something for your whole life. So quite frankly, most people will not be able to keep up the ketogenic diet for the rest of their lives because carbohydrates taste very good. And I don't think most people can give up, and this includes myself, carbohydrates for the rest of their lives. And the second issue is that of protein. To build as well as to preserve muscle, you need to be eating around about 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight, but the ketogenic diet has you eat way less protein than that. Now, you may have come across some fitness people who, you know, they talk about the high protein keto diet, whereby they may eat 35% of protein, or even they may eat 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. However much, the percentage obviously would differ depending on the person's weight, and then the rest they all eat fat and keep carbohydrates to a minimum. But the truth is that these other variants of the ketogenic diet, even including other variants such as, you know, the cyclical keto diet and all these other kind of stuff, the reality is that these diets are not really ketogenic diets, or you can maybe dub them as a kind of ketogenic diet, but the reality is that they are not the original ketogenic diet. The original ketogenic diet that was founded in 1921 had you eat in a ratio of 4:1, meaning that for every gram of carbohydrate you have and for every gram of protein you have, you eat 4 grams of fat. And in terms of percentages, we're looking at about 90% of your total daily intake from fats. So carbs and protein were only about 5%. So whilst the modification by the people in the fitness industry to increase protein is technically more beneficial for muscle purposes, what that does is protein as well as carbohydrates can actually, maybe not on the same level as carbohydrates, can actually interfere with you being in the state of ketosis. So in essence now, if you do eat a lot of protein and you eat high fat and keep low fat, this is not actually a ketogenic diet anymore anyway. This is actually just another low carb diet. So should you follow the ketogenic diet or not? Well, if you are someone who actually can give up carbohydrates for the rest of their lives, then also, you know, go ahead. If you actually enjoy the ketogenic diet and you actually see results in the ketogenic diet, then I'm not going to tell you not to follow it. The only thing is the issue of protein, that I don't recommend you eating so low protein. But then if you're going to do, you know, basically one of the higher protein ones and in essence be doing a low carb, then no problem. You can also go for basically a low carb, although to be technical, you're probably not actually in a state of ketosis. But yeah, I mean, if you're doing something that you enjoy and you're doing something that you see results with, then of course I have no problem with you doing it. There are some other drawbacks that were not mentioned in this video, but because of that, I'm going to be making another video, inshallah, which is really gonna hone down in, you know, really gonna go down in on the fat loss, you know, keto in regards to fat loss. So if you guys want to watch that video, couldn't really, you know, so I'm not gonna cover every single thing in this video, then make sure you subscribe. Let me know in the comments below what you think of the ketogenic diet, and turn the post notification bells on so that you catch next week's video, and I'll see you then.